If there's one thing that working on Redonkulous has taught me over the past 6 years, knowledge is a curse. Once you take the red pill, your mind gets polluted with facts and logic, and no matter how much it sucks, there's no going back. This is the best way to sum up Aaron Clarey's book, Curse of the High IQ. Click on the link in the description to buy it on Amazon, because remember, in an age of information, ignorance is a choice.
What's up, you bastards out there? Terrence Popp here, Redonkulous.com. And today I have my menagerie of booze ready to go, and I have sharpened my poking stick, because I'm going to poke the bear. The other morning I got up to get a beer, don't judge me, and while drinking said beer I decided, hey, I'm going to check my email. And while I'm going through the menagerie of bullshit emails for penis pills and guns that I could never need or shoot, I saw an ad off to the right.
The 17 worst things you can do if you catch your partner cheating.
I don't know anything about that. Space Ghost. Yeah.
Catching your partner in the act of infidelity can be a crushing blow.
Well, it was a blow for somebody, just not you, unless it was your birthday or New Year's Eve. Screen 5.
One that's not easy to get over. When this happens, it's only natural to want to seek revenge, blame yourself, or even just pretend like nothing happened. But none of these things are going to help you or your relationship in the long run.
Yes and no. I hate to break it to you, honey, but if she cheated, it's over. It's no longer a relationship. Hell, it's not even a relationship. There is no long run. The only thing running is the clam chowder going right down her thighs. Oh, look, it's not Space Ghost, it's Pornhub. Oh, and that's my ex getting spit roasted.
Read on to find out what experts say are the worst things you can do if you catch your partner cheating.
Experts, are they? Read on.
Number 1, reacting immediately. The moment you find out that your partner has been cheating, you'll likely be filled with rage.
No fucking shit. But I have to agree with her, gentlemen. Don't go off half-cocked because your ex is getting the full cock, if you know what I mean. Now listen, I took a couple days myself to simmer down. Because in reality, if I didn't, somebody would be dead and I wouldn't be here right now. Or if I was, this would be live streamed from jail.
But that's not going to help you communicate, says April Davis, the founder of luxury matchmaking company Luma.
Gentlemen, once the knife goes in your back that deep, the time for communicating is over. In fact, you've probably been tasting another man's clam chowder when she came home from work.
The worst thing you can do if you catch your partner cheating is to come at them with rage and clouded with your emotions, she says. To steer clear of this before the confrontation, you need to take time and map it out. The more prepared you are, the better it will go. It's important to go into this level-headed. The last thing you want is for it to blow up in your face more than it already has.
This is absolutely correct, and I explain why in my book. Links are in the description. If you go at somebody half-cocked, operating under rage, you're only thinking in 2 dimensions. And if you come forward seething with hatred, you're only operating in 1 dimension. Because your only goal at that point is to hurt them back, and you really don't care how. But she has already had time to think this through and talk to her buddies. And she doesn't give a fuck about your emotions or you. So when you come out both guns a-blazing at her, guess what? You are walking into her trap because she's thinking in 3 dimensions.
Number 2, asking for all the details. When someone violates a monogamy agreement, there is often a strong desire to know every detail of the transgression, says Nicole Prause, a neuroscientist and licensed sexual psychologist based in California.
Of course, she's from California, right? How is that feces smelling on the sidewalk, biatcha? I can guarantee you, it probably smells better than the bullshit you're shoveling in this article.
How did they first meet? How did she press into his lips when they kissed? But according to Prause, details just make everything more vivid and more distressing. Plus, she adds, you will never know all the details. Next time you will wonder what they were wearing or other details.
I'm gonna have to be honest with you here because I don't lie to you. No matter how you approach this, it is gonna be a huge shit show. If you have to take an ass whipping, you know what's coming. Do you just want to take it up front and get it over with? Or do you want that guy to show up every other day or once a month and beat your ass over a 5 or 10 year period? Because that is exactly what's gonna happen if you take this bitch's advice. The reason I took a couple days and simmered down, I had to put together all the evidence and learn all I could. Because I knew if I didn't know it all up front, down the road, every year, 5 years, I'd find out something else and reopen the wound.
Number 3, blaming yourself.
This is a fairly common knee-jerk reaction, just saying.
There is perhaps no instance when you feel less in control than when you find out your partner has betrayed your trust, which is why you might turn the blame on yourself. Following traumas, we tend to blame ourselves for the event as a way to gain a sense of control, says Dr. Heather Z. Lyons, a psychology professor at Loyola University and a licensed couples counselor in Baltimore.
Who doesn't know what the hell she's talking about?
However, that's a defensive response and one that's based on incomplete, if not inaccurate, information. This might help us feel empowered in the short term, but this assumption isn't helpful in the long term.
No matter what happened, how it happened, or who it happened with, or how many times it happened, or how many times the clam chowder went right to the warehouse or to the tonsils, it's only natural for you to blame yourself. And here's the hard part, gentlemen. You should, but only a little bit. Because at the end of the day, you chose this idiot that would do this to you. And along the way, you probably ignored 1,000 red flags. In fact, I made a video about this. Here it is, check it out. And why? Because she's different and she loves me. Idiot! And if you were stupid enough to pay full retail for this piece of ass during your fucking dick thinking years, buckle up because it only gets worse. But that is as far as the self-blame should go. Unless you walked in, caught him in the act, and did CPR on his ass until he finished, you are not responsible for her actions. You might have been stupid and tried to turn a hoe into a housewife. Fuck, I made the same mistake, and I made an episode about it. Here it is. But, the decision to betray you was hers and hers alone.
Number 4, comparing yourself to the other person. Again, this is a natural response, but it's one you have to resist in order to cope with the problem at hand. Comparing yourself to the person your partner cheated with will only make you feel worse, says Dr. Catherine Jackson, a licensed marriage therapist. It is unproductive and would only serve to bring your mood down further.
Written by another woman, but I have to agree. This is completely normal because you're just trying to figure out why the fuck this happened. This is a hit to your ego, heart, spirit, and it's fucking soul crushing. Trust me. But it is completely useless to partake in these kind of questions.
What did I do wrong? Does he have more money? Does he look better than me? Is he buff? Is his penis bigger than mine?
Remember all the bullshit you were taught when you were younger about how when men cheat, they're pigs, but when women cheat, there's something missing. Obviously, there was something that he was not doing to meet her needs. Wah. Newsflash, ladies, that is 100,000% weapons grade bullshit. You just like cock. It has nothing to do with him not meeting your needs or him not loving you enough. It's because you don't know the difference between wants and needs. You found one sucker to write a check against your high mileage pussy. Guess what? It's probably not gonna happen twice. Because if you're a married woman, there's a whole bunch of dudes out there that will line up to hit it and quit it and treat you like a pincushion because they know they're not getting stuck with a check at the end of the night. But go ahead and make the classic mistake of thinking the new dude's gonna replace your husband and pick up the tab and take up where he left off. Guess again, he is gone. The only thing that'll be left of him is some money on the nightstand and a fake name and number and a note saying he has to fly out to Argentina the next morning, screen 5. Not that I know anything about that or anything, but hell, that was some good Icelandic pussy. Platinum up and below.
Frank Cervi's Uncle Nick goes back to college to melt some snowflakes and fill his plate at the all-you-can-fuck buffet. This titan of tirades isn't content just to piss off the liberal cucks in his own world. These politically incorrect essays are causing real-world feminists to shit their pants. Give yourself the gift of laughter and pick up Burning the Midnight on Amazon today. A link is in the description.
Number 5, engaging in denial.
No, I'm not. You got me.
It might be hard for some to believe, but turning one's back to a cheater is a common response. It's also, however, a dangerous one.
Because that is how you get poisoned or killed in your sleep.
It's already bad that you know your partner's cheating on you, says Celia Schweyer, a dating relationship expert at datingscout.com. What's worse is when you've already caught him in the act, and you don't call him out for it just because you love him so much and you don't want to lose him.
Never do this. Not even a little. All hope is gone. The relationship is over. Break contact and prepare for the storm. Murphy's already ramming it 3 feet up your ass at the same time your old lady's getting 500 miles of Mr. Right run through her, huh? Made a video about it. Here it is. Check it out. But, in all seriousness, gentlemen, I think we've all had to deal with this to a certain degree. If you confront them with no evidence, they're simply going to deny. And even if you do have the evidence, they're gonna blame it all on you. And I made an episode about it. Here it is. It's all your fault. And most dudes, they know this already, and they choose to pretend it's just not happening. But it's kind of hard to live in that state of denial when she hands you a drinking straw, just saying, ugh.
Number 6, posting about it on social media.
That is not what I did. I emailed everyone that came to the wedding maps, pictures, satellite imagery, dossiers, and doctor's appointments. And if they didn't have an email, I sent them a hard copy to their house. I know you're saying, Popp, you're such a jaded individual, and I would say back to you, you are right. But I have to say this. How would you react if you were robbed of your children's childhood, and how soon would you get over it? That's not for everyone, but I have to say, telling your side of the story is very therapeutic. But with that being said, you're gonna catch a rash of shit if you do this, so be prepared and think it through. The longer you are in a relationship with this individual, the deeper you are embedded into their family and friends. And let's face it, if you don't have any hard evidence what went down, they've already heard her side of the story, and they won't believe you.
Social media has become a part of our everyday lives. Even if you're someone who posts personal information on Facebook or Instagram regularly, resist the urge when it comes to something like an affair.
Why the hell should I cuck myself out to do someone who's already betrayed me a favor?
While you might want the whole world to know that your partner is not who you thought they were, one of the worst things you can do when you catch your partner cheating is post it on social media, explains Adina Mahali, a relationship expert at Maple Holistics.
You will notice that every single one of these relationship experts are women. The first one owns a matchmaking company. Wah. And the last one happens to own a dating website. How the hell does that make you an expert? I could go to GoDaddy.com and buy the domain datemypenice.com and say I'm a dating expert. In fact, I should do that. And this chick owns a holistic medicine store. Are you serious? Don't get me wrong. You don't have to go into 6 figures of student debt to become a relationship expert. I get it. But if you're gonna write an article like this that gives advice to other people, your sources had better be rock solid. And Adina, who runs the holistic medicine shop, probably isn't on the list, I'm just saying.
You're essentially creating a public scene, and while you think everyone will rush to your support, most people are just cringing that they're watching something so personal go down.
You've already been betrayed, and if you loved her, it makes it so much worse. Now you're saying we should turn our backs on the very public character assassination that was going on top of the fucking betrayal. Because let's face it, the cheating was only one thing she's doing behind your back, gentlemen. Because when she's not getting her tonsils bashed down her throat or getting deliveries right to the warehouse, she's woofing shit about you to her friends, her family, and anyone that will listen that you're a piece of shit and you deserve it. In that instance, social media just might be your last line of defense. Because once that relationship is over, that is probably the only way most of those people are going to hear your side of the story. After all, you've already been betrayed. You've had a major portion of your life flushed down the toilet, and your heart and wallet ripped out through your asshole. And after all that, you think I give a flying fuck if I make other people uncomfortable? Hell no! I run Redonkulous.com.
Number 7, offering instant forgiveness.
Concur. Never forgive, never forget, and if you stay, guess what, gentlemen? It'll happen again, and it'll be worse because the second time, you truly deserve it. You will forever be the sloppy seconds guy, and your dignity and honor right in the toilet, along with the condoms that your wife's lover is not using, Screen 5. She already doesn't respect you because guess what? She already fucking cheated on you. And now that you forgave her, she knows you're not worthy of respect and you have no spine, squid boy. Yeah, just go ink your pants and go swim away with the other spineless fucking troglodytes.
Because catching your partner in an affair can be so earth-shattering, Kevin Darnay, the author of My Cat Won't Bark, A Relationship Epiphany, notes that the person who has been betrayed often just wants to get back to normal as quickly as possible.
Normal in that scenario is she's getting 500 miles of dick run through her, 6 to 8 inches at a time, and you know what's happening and you're ignoring it.
Unfortunately, when a person does not take time out to process what has happened, they may be offering forgiveness while being unable to forgive, he says. As time goes on, they discover no matter how much contrition their partner shows or effort they make to be transparent to earn their trust, it's not enough.
And that is why you don't forgive, you don't forget, you only jettison the pussy, just saying. Because there's copious amounts of people out there who do everything to earn the trust back again, and once they get it, they just cheat again. And gentlemen, we all know a woman like this. If you've ever heard the phrase,
All men are like that.
cut the fuck away, because that is an accident just waiting to happen with multiple penises, one pussy, mouth, and asshole.
Number 8, assuming the relationship is over. Cheating isn't an automatic deal breaker for everyone, says Darnay. Some couples have actually reported their relationships became stronger after an affair.
That's called wishful thinking, and if it did happen, that is a true cuck right there. Moving on.
However, each person has to know themselves and listen to their inner guide. Not everyone is capable of giving someone who hurt them a clean slate. If every time you look at your mate you conjure up images of them lying and cheating on you, staying with them is an act of self-mutilation.
That is why the safest bet is to assume the relationship is over and move the fuck on. If you stay in that situation after a betrayal like that, you are announcing to the world, you're a cuck. It would be one thing if you were the only one that knew about it. But let's face it, she does have 2 sets of lips, and everyone knows it by now. And those people, they will lose respect for you, and they'll talk about it forever behind your back. You might not hear them talking like that, but you'll know what's happening, and it will take a toll on you.
Number 9, trying to get even.
I wouldn't know anything about that now, would I?
Yes, hurt people hurt people. But going after your cheating mate keeps you stuck in the pain, explains Kimberly Friedmutter, relationship expert and author of Subconscious Power, Use Your Inner Mind to Create the Life You've Always Wanted. That means no low blow behavior.
So says another woman, and a self-proclaimed relationship expert, simply because she wrote a book. That would have been impressive 30 years ago, but now you can self-publish on Amazon, and in so doing, massage your own clit.
Jackson reiterates that it's important to resist the urge to get even. Doing so may lead to poor decisions, some of which you cannot undo. Sometimes when we get even, we actually hurt ourselves more in the process, she advises. Furthermore, you are likely to feel bad about getting even, doing something you never intended to, but only did to make your partner hurt as much as you do.
That would be because the can't understand no more thinker probably has it coming, Space Ghost. Far be it from me to encourage dudes to participate in risky behavior. It's not like I made an episode about it or anything. But hey, I will say this. I'm totally cool with a little even Steven once it's over, if you know what I mean. Your world has been crushed. Your heart and wallet have been ripped out through your asshole. And that's about as bad as it gets. You think I'm gonna make it worse by trying to make myself feel better? Fuck off. That argument didn't work when I was standing outside the door of the brothel in South America, and it's not gonna work now, Screen 5. But, gentlemen, if you do this, you're gonna find out pretty damn quick exactly what a PPO is. So I'm gonna take the high road here and tell you it's just better to break it clean and leave. Because the best revenge that you can ever wreak on another person is living well. Because that is one thing social media is good for. Instant karma. Just add time. Because 7 years later, after she hits the wall like Roadrunner, you're gonna get the Slingback call. And I made a whole episode about that bullshit and the retribution coitus that follows. Check it out.
Number 10, revenge cheating.
I'm sorry, what did you say? Move on! Bottom line, there is no such thing as revenge cheating. Oh, Pornhub is on there. If somebody cheats on you, the relationship is over. You're simply moving on to a new piece of pussy.
And yes, that goes for cheating as revenge too. Cheating to get back at your cheating partner will not make you feel better, says Schweyer. You might think that you're hurting them this way as a revenge, but you're actually just hurting yourself more. Cheating on your partner will not solve the problem. It will only make your relationship even less worthwhile to maintain.
What relationship? It's already in the boneyard. It's over, Schweyer. Drive on and bang as much ass as you want.
Number 11, destroying your partner's belongings.
Women are notorious for doing this all the time. In fact, it happened to me once back in the day. Except in my case, it wasn't my belongings. It was just my innocent fucking dog.
Ripping up something your significant other loves or smashing once cherished framed photos isn't a long-term solution either. You think you will feel better by diverting all your emotions and being destructive, but as good as it might feel at first, you are doing more harm to yourself than good, says Schweyer.
No, you're not. I don't recommend this, but if you have to smash some shit, better not be yours.
The aftermath is dealing with your insurance company and maybe even the police. Chances are high that you'll be labeled as the crazy one, unfair as it may seem. Try avoiding this by finding healthier ways to deal with your anger.
Wow, this sounds like great advice if I was some split-tailed chick. And why? Because most men don't do this. Women do. Men are simply gonna gather your shit and throw it the fuck out of the house. They're not gonna destroy it. But if you are caught or even suspect you're in some crazy fucked up love triangle, get your shit out of the house. Even if you're not the one cheating, you calling her out on it puts you at fault. And if you have expensive or very sentimental items on the premises, they're the first things to go. And almost no judge will ever award damages against a woman who does this reprehensible bullshit. So ladies, please come up with a healthier way to deal with your anger. I would suggest, hey, just go get some strange dick. But you've already done that, Screen 5.
Number 12, emptying the bank accounts. This is another low blow that isn't worth it, according to Friedmutter. Your partner went low, but that doesn't mean you need to react to the moment in the same manner, she explains. Matching behavior by trying to hurt the other financially will have to be rectified later.
Bull fucking shit. Emptying the bank account is the first thing you should do when you discover this horse shit. If my relationship is over, why the hell would I keep throwing money at it? After all, men and women are the same in the eyes of the feminists, so she should have her own cash, right? But we all know how this plays out. She's gonna say it's our money because she's the one who's always spent it.
Check it out, a dead cat.
Leave it to the director of Serial Rabbit 5 to be one of the first people to get a movie banned off Amazon. But I guess that's what happens when you direct a movie that makes fun of the lamestream media. Weh?
Hate reporters.
VoiceOver Sound on Tape shows us what the world of fake news really looks like, and it must have hit too close to home because now the only way you can see it is on DVD.
Yeah, I'm kind of used to it by now.
Click the link in the description to get yourself a copy, and while you're at it, send a box full of rubber dog shit to Brian Stelter's house.
13, making major life decisions. Lyons notes that it's important to treat infidelity like any other traumatic situation. Many of the responses we have to cheating, hypervigilance, racing heart, difficulty eating and sleeping, etc., look just like the responses of those who have experienced more widely recognized trauma, she explains. And since trauma has such a profound effect on the brain, Lyons advises against making important decisions shortly after discovering a partner is cheated. During trauma, our brains will go into survival mode. When our brains are focused on survival, our prefrontal cortex is turned off. But decision-making is guided by our prefrontal cortex, Lyons says. Wait on any major decisions until after your nervous system has had time to relax and you've had time to get support from people who care about you.
This is 100% true. I have seen this happen 1,000 times, and it's happened to me. Gentlemen, when you are hurting and you just want to feel better, That is a recipe for some serial bad decision making. You'll probably find yourself every other night committing some of the classic mistakes men make. In fact, I made an episode about it. Here it is, check it out. Instead of wrapping your legs around a new piece of ass every other night or every night, how about you take a break, think about it, learn from your mistakes, and talk to your friends and family. Even if they don't understand or can't relate to what you're going through, they still want what's best for you. And if they see you out on town slinging seed like an old bird feeder, they're gonna call you out on it. And let's be honest, that's probably what you need right now.
Number 14, disappearing. Eventually, you and your partner will have to talk about what happened, and delaying the inevitable too long doesn't do you any favors. Avoiding the confrontation or hiding at your mother's house only prolongs the inevitable. So man or woman up, Friedmutter says. While this will be the most awkward of all moments, the sooner you face it, the sooner it's over.
I concur, because disappearing is simply quitting by another name. Don't be a quitter. Running away doesn't solve anything. In fact, what you're running from usually grows in power and intensity. If you run long enough, sooner or later, it will catch you, and it'll stick it right in your ass. We made an episode about a woman who ran from every problem in her life. Now she's alone and childless. Made an episode about it. Here it is. Check it out.
Number 15, dismissing your feelings. When you find out your partner has betrayed your trust, it's natural to wonder if you could have done something differently.
That's absolutely stupid. Don't even entertain it.
It's natural to wonder a whole host of things, actually, and it's important that you do. It takes time to process how you feel, and you may experience a roller coaster of emotions. Allow yourself to feel how you feel for as long as you need to feel it, Jackson says.
And you know all about that now, don't you? We've all heard this before. The best way to get over old penis is to climb on top of new penis. And when you do that, it always turns out the same way. You don't get over any of your past relationships. You don't learn anything, and you're doomed to repeat them. So, ladies and gentlemen, when this happens to you, realize that you picked an unworthy person. Learn from it so you don't repeat it later on in life.
Number 16, letting others dictate if you stay or leave.
Do people actually do this?
You may actually decide to tell a small group of people, a trusted friend or a close family member, for example, about your partner's infidelity, but take the time to decide if you really want to let others in on what's going on.
Newsflash, if it's the woman cheating, everyone already knows.
When someone cheats in a relationship and others know about it, a wealth of emotions can transpire within you and them, Jackson explains. You should try and take time to yourself to decide what you want to do without thinking about how others will handle your decision.
Listen, people should not be involved in this facet of your life. So ladies, stop involving them. I have known a lot of dudes that have cheated on their significant others. In fact, they were doing it so extensively, they were slinging seed like an old bird feeder. And I didn't even know about it until after the smoke cleared when he was discovered. Men typically don't speak about such behavior when they're engaging in it because it makes us look like scumbags. But women involve everyone, to include a pre-packaged set of lies to make you look like shit in front of everyone. She'll have everyone, to include your teller at the bank, thinking you deserve it.
Number 17, avoiding therapy.
I'm not the one to talk to about that. Space Ghost.
It's an awful and jarring experience to find out your partner has been cheating, says Sil Hertzberg, a sex therapist at My Therapist New York. That's why she recommends therapy.
Shocker.
In therapy, we process our reactions when difficult things happen, ascribing to the view that you should accept yourself no matter what. We work on how to handle it when our partner disappoints us, but we also bring to light the demands we have put on him or her.
I have a question for you, and you're probably not going to be able to answer it. How the hell is somebody else telling me how to think and feel gonna help me? Especially when I was the one being betrayed, and then you want me to focus on how I caused it. This is expensive, time-consuming, a waste of time, and usually doesn't help. The biggest part of achieving wisdom isn't just growing up. It's taking responsibility, learning from your mistakes, and this is done through self-reflection. If you are constantly filtering your own self-reflection through another person, you're defeating the purpose and you're probably not going to learn. After all, number 16 on the list, letting other people dictate if you stay or leave. Isn't trusting a therapist with your well-being kind of doing that? I'm sorry, gentlemen, but you're going to have to navigate this entire nut roll by yourself. I know that sucks harder and longer than my ex on a Thursday, but I'll never lie to you. Take the time to reflect on your relationship and learn from the red flags that you ignored. If you just do those 2 simple things, you are ahead in the ball game of life. And I sure as shit didn't learn that from reading this article. And I sure as shit didn't learn anything from the gaggle of self-proclaimed experts. Don't get me wrong, they said a lot of things that I do agree with, and a lot of things that I don't. One thing that I cannot abide is teaching men to be cucks and roll over and take it. As for me, I'm living the best revenge with your help. And if you want to help us out even more, I'm almost out of Jim Apple. Check out the links below for Patreon, PayPal, and Subscribestar. And don't forget, we have over a dozen new models of t-shirts and mugs, so get your swag at patrolbase.net. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell. And if you don't, you're just a cheating whore, and I have 17 ways to handle those. But I only need one. Oh, Space Ghost is on. You don't want to know just enough to fucking, fuck you up. And then you go through the divorce process, and then 18 months later, you find something else. Boom, you take another hit. And then a year later, you find something else. Boom, you take another hit. Like how you do. You fucking take it all up front and get it over with. That's what I did. And it was a fucking orchestra of worst case scenarios. Not one time did I just go, you know what, I should stop this because I'm only hurting myself. Because I knew that I could either take the pain all at once or it would go on for years.